welcome to Voices of the West. Wanted to just do a quick congratulations out to Wayne Winkle and to Gary Diamond for a #1 for Sons of Elias Sterling coming up. And speaking of hit makers, today we are joined by Monty Garner coming out here. Monty, I believe you have 8 different books that you've been writing along on all this here. Well, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I do have 8 books, and just published my last one last week.
Outstanding. New one hot on the press right now. And what is the name of that one?
It's A Rancher's Revenge.
Rancher's Revenge coming out.
Yes, so, it's the 3rd book of a series that I have going, and it's the last book of that series. So it's a good book. Good book.
Oh, the conclusion of the series. My goodness.
Yes.
So is this the Sawyer books or is this the card books?
This is the Sawyer books.
The Sawyer books. And
yes.
Just out of curiosity, as we launch into another question here for you, you're from Sawyer, Oklahoma, aren't you?
I am.
Is that happen to be something similar going on there for how you named the character?
It is. That's my hometown.
Very good.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and growing up in Oklahoma.
So Sawyer is in the very southeastern part of the state. It's 25 miles from Texas. So I was raised right on the Kiamichi River, and I put some details of that in some of my books about the things, landmarks and things like that. My landmarks are all there. I grew up reading Westerns. I grew up, Sawyer is only a population of maybe 200 people. So it's a small country community. I grew up riding horses, working cattle, all that kind of stuff. And so, Western kind of life is what I know. And
indeed.
So
puts you down basically.
And I got into writing books. In 2021, I got up one morning. It was in January and cold, and I told my wife that I was going to write a book. She laughed at me. Yeah. And 30, 40 days later, I've got a manuscript. Now, I did not know anything about what I was going to do next. So I found some books, and I started reading books about manuscripts and publishing and all kinds of things. I found me a publisher, and I sent her 1,000 words, and she comes back and she goes, "Okay, if that's your first chapter, you got to rewrite the whole thing." And I go, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah." And then, and the thing about it is, she helped me more than anyone, because she sent me things to study, and I studied everything she sent me. I read lots of books, and so I started this journey. I had that book written by March, and it was September before I published it. So I had a journey there, and I've never looked back.
Excellent. Well, having gone through the whole process, and it sounds like rather painfully from the publisher on all of that, what bit of advice would you give to someone else who was starting out trying to write?
Number one is be dedicated to your writing and write every day. Set your time and you write every day. You've got to do that. Number two is learn from the other people who have done this, because they know. Listen to them. When they give you advice, take their advice to heart, because they've already been through all this. I read a lot of books. I'm telling you, I read books, a lot of self-help books on different people. Joanna Penn, I read, she has a lot of them. And I read her stuff and some others, and I got a lot of good advice. And I took notes. I've got a notepad full of notes. Whether I ever use all those notes, I don't know, but I've got it. And I can always refer back to it. But it's more than just publishing the book, or it's more than just writing the book. I mean, there is so much out there that people need to understand is, I mean, you've got to have a base, a reader base, and you've got to learn how to get that reader base. The first, I've never met my editors. They've edited 8 books for me. We email back and forth. The very first meeting I had with them, though, was a Zoom meeting for 30 minutes. And the lady asked me, she said, "What is success to you?" I had done my research and I says, if I can sell 200 books of Card Kill Them All, I will be a success.
And
because I knew that the average book only sells 200 copies. I knew that going in. And she goes, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah." And that's, I did that in the first 2 weeks.
But I was going to say, how many did you come out to on card?
I'm probably over 20,000 easy.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know exactly, because I just go kind of by the amount of reviews you get. I look at reviews and I go, okay, 10% of your readers are going to give you a review. So, I don't know if that's a good number or not. Maybe it's 7 or 8%. Maybe 10's high. But that's kind of how I got going. I had a lot of help along the way, like I say, from my editors and then I started meeting other authors online and talking to them. And they give me advice also. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is a guy that's with Dusty Sellers, the guy from Germany, Alfred.
Alfred.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alfred's great. He's been on here a couple times.
Yeah. I've asked him some questions and he's always helped me, and there's others.
He's published a ton of books.
He's wrote a lot of books.
Yes.
And that's the reason I go out to people like that. I'm still new at this. I've only wrote 8 books. Some of these guys have wrote, 2, 3, 4, 500 books. They're the ones that you want advice from. And but it's been a nice journey. I've enjoyed every bit. I love writing. So I have to tell this because I know people is listening. When I write, I take on part of those characteristics of my character. If it's a sad spot, I'm wiping tears running down my cheeks. Okay, my wife will go, "Well, you writing a sad spot?" "Yeah," because but I do, because I as I'm writing that, I'm kind of living through some of that. Mm-hmm. So I take on some of those traits of my characters. It's not just I just get out there and throw them together.
So when you're writing the story, do you generally know what you're doing for a plot? Do you outline it, or do you just go with an overall title and run with it?
Oh, may not be able to see this.
Notes.
This is my current book that I'm working on. I outline it. Actually, this notepad is for that book, and it's what I'm working on. And I outline every one of my chapters. I've got it all out there, and then I use that same notebook to make notes. I keep track of all my characters, all my places, dates, times, all that. Yeah. Okay. I didn't do that. I kept track of names and characters, but on my first few books, I did not outline. So I progress as I go along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've gotten 8 books out here since 2021. So obviously you've picked up a little bit of speed since your first one.
Yes, I have. I keep on going all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If I go on vacation, I take my computer with me. There's always downtime somewhere, and I'm sitting there writing. So, yeah.
When do you find works best for your writing for you?
You mean like time wise and
Yeah, a
things?
lot of people try and get themselves into a overall rhythm for when they can write during the day.
I I get up really early, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's when I write. That's my best time to write. If I can get in there on that computer at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's quiet. There's nothing going on, and I just sit there. Now, some days I get in there, I'll write 3 pages. Some days I get into this, I call it my zone, and I may write 15 pages. It's according to how the plot's going.
Mm-hmm.
But some days I can, some days, and some days I'll get up after 2 or 3 hours and I'll go do something else, and I'll be thinking about this plot, and I go, I gotta go write some, and I go in there, sit down, and I start writing again. So yeah, because I'm always thinking ahead, always thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm. So how much research goes into your books? Because Westerns are
Uh,
notorious for research.
Research,
Readers like
a lot of
detail.
research. Even though I was born and raised in Oklahoma, I find it very hard to write about Indian territory with my type of book. So I get outside of Oklahoma. Most of my stuff takes place in North Texas, which I'm very familiar with that because I've been all over that area. So I do have to do a lot of research. I research creeks, rivers, uh, different businesses that were in those towns back at that time period. I researched guns, ammunition. I've made mistakes on guns, and I have learned that if you put a caliber of gun in that book, it had better be in that time period. Even though that book is fiction, someone will call you on it. And if they
Absolutely.
call me on it, I'm going to pull that book off the market, and I'm going to change it. Okay,
Yeah.
I will change it.
Yeah. Okay.
And so yes, I do a lot of research, and um, there's days that's all I do is research and take notes, and that way I've already got it done when I get to that point. When you're talking about, because some of mine has some Civil War things in it, I research those. I research those places. I research where these skirmishes took place, all that. I'm pretty much aware of the terrain of the places that I write about because I've
Mhm.
been there. So yeah,
Certainly helps having the firsthand knowledge of that, and growing up with horses and everything and all that. You've pretty much lived all the experience you need to be putting into there for how do things smell, how do things feel, all that kind of thing too. So
yeah.
that's a good breadth of experience to be able to write into this. So why do you like Westerns? What about a Western excites you?
Well, I guess because of where I grew up and the type of, I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't have a horse, but my sister and her husband, they had horses, and me and my nephew rode every day. Seemed like, and we were always. I mean, we would get up every morning and pack us a lunch and a canteen, and we'd be gone all day long. I mean, that was kind of thing. So I just pretty much stuck with that Western thing. I don't know how effective I would be writing anything but that because that's what I'm comfortable with.
Hmm. What do you think makes a good Western?
Well, this may seem odd, but a good Western needs a dog in it, needs a good horse in it. Um, the rest of it, of course, you got a good guy and a bad guy always, seems like. Doesn't have to be that way. Um, and you may even have you got to have a love story in it somewhere. No Western's a good Western without some kind of love story, good or bad. Sometimes
Absolutely.
they're bad love stories, uh, but really they are. And I'm currently working on one. I'm not going to give much away, but
Oh, please do.
I'm not. um, I will give you. It's the guy's 62 years old. He is a over the hill gunfighter. He's made a lot of mistakes in his life, and he's looking back on his life. So he's going back from present to past, and he's looking back at those things that he did in his past, and some of those he's trying to reconcile. And it's just it's a book of reflection. He's reflecting on that. It's different than anything I've ever written, and I'm working hard at this book because of that reflecting back and forth. Because I have to keep it in perspective of present day and him just remembering back on those things.
Oh my. So it's
Yeah.
a full remembrance from way back early in life type of thing like that. So a mixture of
Yeah.
Western and modern going into that. Well,
Right.
modern for that.
And it will end. It will end. I mean, that's when I showed you how to outline. That's that book outline, and he will reflect back to probably up until the last 10 chapters of the book, and then it will just be all present day.
Excellent. Well, that's a good thing because modern Westerns seem to be catching on more and more these days. So it's a nice transition to the audiences for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Particularly with Yellowstone and different stuff like that coming out in the last couple of years. There's been a lot more interest going that direction. So
Yes, it
would
has.
be a good thing.
Yes.
What has been the most challenging thing for you of the writing experience?
Probably the marketing aspect of it. I don't know that there is a right or a wrong way to. I'm sure there's a wrong. I don't know what the. I think probably marketing is whatever works.
Mm-hmm.
I do newsletter. I go to book festivals. I don't go to a lot of book festivals, but I do go to book festivals. I do a lot on social media, of course, and I ask my friends and family to when I post something to share it. I mean that's
Got the
good
strategy
marketing.
down, yes.
And I have done some ads, but I'll be honest about ads. I've done some Facebook ads. I've done some Amazon ads. None of the ads I have ever done has paid off.
Interesting.
Okay, that's and I spend more money on ads than I do on sales. Now, that doesn't mean that everything you do has to be a sale. It means that I need to get my name out there. Yes. I need to get my books out there for people to see.
You need to get your fan base engaged.
I need to get
work with you.
So same way when I go to a book festival, I know when I go to some of those, I may lose money. That's fine. Okay, that's fine because you take your gas, your hotel rooms, all that, puts it in there. You got to sell a lot of books to make up for it. I don't go to it to make money. I go to it to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
I like meeting people. I like shaking people's hands and talking to them. And so yeah.
Absolutely.
I went to a school 2 weeks ago and spoke to an English class. 21 kids loved it. And they were eating that stuff up. And the good part about it is, a couple of days later, I started getting all these emails from these kids thanking me for coming out. And it wasn't just thank you for coming out. It was, a paragraph or 2 or 3 paragraphs, and that's good stuff. That's
Yeah,
really good stuff
you're
because
you're engaging
anytime we
younger
can get
readers.
some, and I gave them all a book also, a
Oh,
signed book.
outstanding.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I gave them all of it. So hopefully they'll read them. If they don't, they still got a book.
Yeah, if not, they'll get it home to mom and dad, have them read it, and then
Absolutely. Yeah.
pass it to people that start buying more of the books, and it's a great way of getting it around.
Well, everything we do, we don't have to charge for it. Um, it's I just want to get books in people's hands.
Yeah. And certainly taking the first of your series and running it out to people and letting them do that, and then they come out and buy the rest of the series is a
And that's what I
thing.
give out. I
Yeah.
give out the first of the series. Yeah. And that's what I push, the very first book of the series.
Good
Yes.
tactics that way, yes. Hopefully add well to sales.
And don't get me wrong, I like sales.
Sales are always good. They make putting the next book together that much more enjoyable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah. But I've learned that there's nothing that can't be done. And there's nothing that I can't learn. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I've got enough intelligence that I can learn a little bit, so and I've got people to help me. As long as I've got people to help me and push me in a certain direction, I'm good.
Excellent. Yeah, it sounds like you've done a lot of research and you've gotten a lot of really good strategies on board for getting into all of this business.
Yeah, I've got, and I keep track of everything. I have a folder, I have a binder for every book. I mean, everything that I do with that book is in that binder. So I can pull that binder at any time and go back and see anything that I've done. All my notes are in that binder. When I get through with the book, I put all my notes in that binder. So I keep all that.
Yeah, that's all very good intelligence for the whole process, for what to improve the next time, and also what's been working on the one that's currently out.
Well, I'm going to bring that card series back. I've had too good of luck. I've had too many people want more of the card series. I have people email, hey, are you going to do some more books on card? But he's going to be older. He's going to be 5 years older, a little bit more mature. And I'm going to bring that series back. Probably it'll be this fall.
Excellent.
I should start writing as soon as I get through with the book that I'm on right now. It's called Buckshot. Soon as I get through with Buckshot, and I'm still a ways away. I'm probably 2 months more on the manuscript, and then 5 or 6 months on editing. But as soon as I get through the manuscript, I'll start writing the other card book. I do that while it's going through editing.
Excellent.
So I will take a lot of time on the card book. It will take me a while to write that story. I know the plot already. The plot's done. I've got it all plotted out. But I'm gonna go back to the card book. I've had too many people email me and tell me how well they like that book. So if they like it, I'm bringing it back.
Excellent. So where can people find out more about you, buy the books, and basically start adding up all of your sales on those?
Yes. I've got a website. It's www.montygarnerauthor.com. Of course, everything's on Amazon.
Always.
I don't publish anywhere but Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know some people will say you need to go wide, but I've had better luck this way.
Amazon is everywhere. So yeah.
This is what's worked for me, because I did do I did have my books on another site or another avenue, and I wasn't selling any books through them. And so I went exclusively with Amazon, and when I did, my sales increased by quadruples. I mean, overnight. And so I just stuck with that.
Definitely
Um,
stick with what works.
I tried the others, um, and this didn't work for me,
Hmm.
and so Amazon worked for me. I may try the others again. Um, don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm open for anything.
Hey, anything's going to expand the readership. That's a beautiful thing.
Yes. I've also, I mean, some of the libraries, I give books to libraries also.
Hmm.
I, I'll give them the book. I don't mind giving them books.
Yeah,
I mean, if somebody wants to read it, I mean, it's there. And so, yeah, I give books to libraries, and uh, you know, uh, some of my biggest fans are teenagers. And you know what?
that's outstanding.
I'll give them a book. I don't mind if they want to read. I will give them a book.
Hmm.
You know, uh, that's a small price to pay to get teenagers to read. Um, I think that's one thing that's wrong with our country today. We don't have enough readers. So,
Absolutely.
you know,
Definitely need
I
more.
think reading is knowledge. So if somebody wants a book, I'll give it to
Yeah. And encourage, I mean, it's knowledge, it's entertainment, it's escape, it's a whole bunch of things that are just good for the mind that kids need to learn more about. Well,
them. Absolutely.
everybody needs to do more of.
And but yeah, it's been a good journey. I enjoy it. I really love the writing part of it. Uh, I like I said, I can get in here in my zone, and I can work for hours. I can work for a couple of hours and don't even know I'm in
Excellent.
it. And
Well, loving it is part
that's
of
the
a
way
great
I like it.
success.
And I like doing that. Um, the other stuff that the marketing, the the publishing part, I actually I'll go and tell you this too. I don't edit anything. I edit nothing. I hire editors to do all my editing, proofreading, all that. Critiques, I hire editors, people to do that. They
That,
also do all my formatting.
hmm.
They write my blurbs. I send them a summary of the book, like a 2 or 3 page summary, 4 page, and then they'll write me a blurb off of that. So I don't do those. So, you know,
Makes
and
sense. Yeah.
now when I say I don't do any editing, that's not totally true. After the book has gone through that whole editing process, I've made all my changes, I've done all my rewrites, it's went through proofreading, and I'm ready for it to be formatted so I can publish it. I will read that book.
Hmm.
I will let the computer read it to me. And my wife will also.
Ah,
And because all of us are human, we don't catch everything.
especially when
And
you wrote
so, and I wrote it. And by then, by the time I'm through that process, it's been, 4 or 5 months since I actually wrote it. So with the computer reading it to me, I pick up on things real easy.
it. Hmm.
So we go back through that book 2 more times after it's been proofread to try to make sure. I really don't like to publish a book. If I know it's got one mistake in it, I won't publish it. I'm gonna fix that one mistake. I if someone is paying money for that book, I expect for it to be clean.
Yeah. And if
Okay.
people see a mistake, it stands out in their memory. And it doesn't matter. You
Yes,
get
it
a great
does.
book. They say, yeah, it was a great book, but they had a misspelling on page two.
And I've had people to email me and say, "Hey, Monty, this is not the right word." Fine, I'll pull it, change the word, and republish it.
Yep. And
Yeah.
Amazon is really good for doing things like that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So yeah, and so I'm still learning. I'm still learning like everybody else, you know. And so yeah, by the time it's published, it's seen quite a few eyes.
Hmm.
And my last book, that Rancher's Revenge, I have not got anything back on it saying that I had a misspelt word or anything or a wrong word in it. So far, as far as I know, it's clean.
Good.
as far as I know. And
Excellent.
it's doing very well. I looked this morning, I think I had like 33 reviews. I don't know how many it sold, but it was like number 21. So
That's
it's doing fine.
good placement. Yeah. If you're in the top 20, that you're doing quite well with that top 10. Everything.
That book right there,
Hmm.
it went to number 3 on Amazon.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Done very well.
Yes.
Done very well. I love that. Trust me, I love number 3. I'll take it any day. You know.
Absolutely. Number 3 would push you up to number 1 too. Would be a good place.
Yes, it would.
The
Yes, it
more,
would.
more you keep writing, the more the people keep seeing you up there, the more likely it's going to happen for you.
Right. Right.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you joining us today and being able to give a little view of your books, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of them soon.
I hope so. And I really appreciate this. This is I love doing stuff like this.
Well, a pleasure to have you on here, and hopefully we'll be seeing you again.
All right. Thank you very much.